guys, welcome back to Missy's Imaginings. Today I'm going to be putting together the Annora Couture gown. I posted the pattern during the Christmas gifts in December, and so I wanted to go ahead and put that dress together. I'd waited, I thought I might buy new fabric, but the more I thought about it, I really didn't want to buy a bunch of new fabric. So I'm going to show you what I have, what I'm using. It's going to be a hodgepodge of colors that will kind of relate, and I'll kind of show you what I have and what we're going to be doing. So the underskirt is going to be this creamy color, just kind of a fairly sheer fabric and a real soft fabric because I want the drape of it to hang real nice. So I'm going to do the underskirt in this color as well as the lining of the bodice, and then the top of the little petticoat we'll use this fabric. So that's what this is going to be for. For the decorative skirt, I have kind of a peachy salmony colored lace. So I'll hold it up against the cream. So this is going to be the decorative underskirt. So it's just a lacy fabric just to have some different texture. So I'm going to be using that for the underskirt, and that's just some yardage that I had. Then the interesting part for the decorative part of the overlay on the skirt, the flounce of the skirt on the top, and for the chiffony part of the bodice, I was given an old vintage dress that I'm going to be salvaging fabric. So let me hold this up here. So this dress would probably fit one of my arms. Oh, here, I have it backwards. Here we go. So it's like a salmony colored peachy chiffon, and then there's ruffles on the skirt, which is kind of an old, well, it almost looks like a brownish gold color, but I thought it was interesting. So I'm going to be using this for the decorative part, and then the chiffon in the top I'm going to salvage for the bodice and the upper torso and the sleeves. But in order to take advantage of these ruffles that are already on here, what I also did, you'll see when I cut out the pattern, is on the front piece I actually made two pieces so that they will overlap like this on the front part of the flounce rather than just being one piece. It's going to overlap. Because of the shape of the flounce, I want to be able to take advantage of the swoops of this lace that's sewn on here. So I'm going to do that in two pieces. So that's what I'm going to use. I don't know how it'll turn out, but we'll try it. I just kind of liked the difference in the textures, and so we'll see. And then I bought some real pretty sew-on rick-racky lacy embellishments that will go over the top of the bodice, and so that'll be at the end. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start cutting out and put this together and see how it looks. Catch you there. piece, I was looking at the photo of the paper doll outfit, and the bottom skirt is very, very full. So I'm actually going to cut 2 of these. So I have the fabric layered so that I'll have 2 layers here. And so I'm going to cut 2 of these that will be cut on a fold. And then I want to make sure that I don't have a seam down the front. So the second piece I will probably cut halfway and sew on the sides, like cut on this seam as well, and add it to the sides of the first piece so that I won't have a seam in the very front, but there'll be side seams instead, and then it'll go around the back. So on this piece that is the underskirt, I'm going to cut 2 of them. So on the pattern it just says to cut 1, but I want it to be really full. So I am going to make that change when I cut this piece. pieces for the 4 different pieces we're going to make. So we have the pieces for the petticoat, which will be a top section. This is the front, and then there's 2 of the back that will be sewn together, and the tulle will come from that down. So that will be the petticoat. So that's those pieces. This is the decorative skirt that will be between the underskirt and the top that has the bodice and the flounce. So this is just basically going to be a lace skirt. Then there's the underskirt, which is the cream color and is longer, that I doubled, so it will be very, very full. The skirts are very simple. They're just basically circle skirts or a double circle skirt. The petticoats just, you know, just like a little girdle around the waist to the hips, and then adding the tulle. So these are pretty basic pieces. What we all want to see is the bodice and the flounce put together. So that's where I'm going to start. I will be putting the lining together first, which will be basically like a strapless top. So that's what these cream pieces will be. And then we'll start putting the bodice together. I'm hoping my iron won't melt the tulle. It's very, very old since I was using that vintage dress. But I have all the pieces cut, so we'll go ahead and start. We'll put this together. All these, I think I'm going to go ahead and serge them, so a lot won't actually show when I'm constructing, but I'll kind of check in between each step. So I'm going to sew these together at the sides, then I'll serge the top edge and hem it. These pieces for the top of the bodice will start with assembling the sides of the back and the sides of the front, and then I'll put them together at the shoulder. Then it'll be a matter of putting in the sleeves and the collar. These will put together matching the little asterisk dots, putting those together, and I'm going to serge those. On my serger, I'm using the settings for a rolled hem, but I've left both of the needles in. So I want a real narrow serge, but I think that'll make a nicer finished seam inside of these. And because I've got so many colors going on, I'm just using a cream thread, and I've got some pink in the machine. So I'll kind of check in with each spot, and if there's anything substantial that you need to see, then I'll show you the steps on those. But from a lot of the other videos, it's going to be pretty basic, following the same type pattern. You do side seams, serge tops, hem any edges that you don't want, you know, to be rough fabric, and then putting those together. So I'll be serging some of these and popping back in when my steps are ready to show. This is the lining for the bodice. So that's all done. The side seams were all put together, and then the top was hemmed. On the chiffon part, the same thing. I put the sides on the front, and then the pieces that went to the back. Once those were done, stitched the shoulders together, put the collar on, which I just lightly hemmed by hand since I didn't want white thread to be on the top. Then I went ahead and put in the sleeves, and because this fabric, it doesn't fray really bad, so I did not serge this gauzy chiffon stuff. I didn't serge it just because it doesn't fray horribly, and when you serge it, it adds more bulk and it would show through. So this way I just did the actual seams, and now I'm going to simply baste in the lining so it'll look like this. So I'll baste that lining into place along the waistband. The back is a little bit wider. Let's see if we can get some light here. So, oh, there's a ladybug in here. So the back will fold over the edge of the lining like this. So that will be stitched into place. So once the back is ready to close, it'll be a nice finished edge. So I do have to just serge the back here, so that's nice and finished. And then this will kind of wrap around that edge. So that'll be in place. Then I'll baste along the waistline. And then this will be pretty much done until the flounce is applied. And then once the flounce is applied, then I'll have the rickrack with pearl and little ribbon roses that will make all this fancy stuff that'll go on there. So for now though, we're just gonna finish up the bodice, and then I'll start putting the sides of the flounce all together. It'll just be a matter of finishing the back edge with serging, but I'll probably do that once it's applied. And so then I'll serge all the side seams and the bottom and hem it, and I'll come back and show when that section is done. So here's the top with the flounce attached, and so it looks like it's going to fit her fine. This is an overlap because of the way I wanted to take advantage of those ruffles to make it kind of loop the way I wanted it to. I had to cut that in two pieces so it overlaps here in the front. So I think that's going to be alright. Then there's going to be a lace skirt underneath, and then the long creamy colored skirt will be underneath. So now I just have to do the other two skirts, and then this outfit will be finished. Then the back pieces come together here, and then one side is longer, which is how I designed it. So the one side is longer and will rest over the lace. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and finish the outfit. And we'll also try this on a couple other different dolls as well, just to give you an idea of who all can wear the pattern. So there we are thus far, and now we'll go ahead and move on to the skirts. Like I said, the skirts are simple circles, so if you want specific detailed instructions on how to do those circle skirts, I have a couple other videos on putting together those floral skirts that will be the same steps. So I'm going to go ahead and get the skirts done, and then we'll look at the finished outfit. Now both of the skirts are done, the decorative lace skirt as well as the underlay skirt. So this is what those look like, and then all the snaps are put on. So once we go ahead and put the top on, see if we can get her thumb around here, then we'll go ahead and look at the outfit. Everything is done except for the petticoat, so we'll see how it looks here. And well, I have to do the embellishment on the top as well, but it's snapped in the back. And this is the outfit thus far. So if we tuck it back there, so we have the top done. There, won't snap it right now, but the top is done, which will hang like this with one side longer than the other. Then the decorative skirt shows underneath, and then the bottom. So now all that's left is to put on the lace. I have to figure out where I put it. Oh, here it is. So we'll see how this looks. But I have pearl embellishment that will go onto the bodice, and because this actually has a bunch of ruffle that a lot of times you wouldn't normally have, the embellishment will probably only go to the waist, but will go up to the collar, and then there'll be several that will come up onto the bodice. So that handwork needs to be done. And when that's all done, then we'll go ahead and put her wig on and show her entirety. Here's the dress all finished, and the petticoat is in place. I did notice around the waist it was a little large, so you could always tighten that up a little bit by taking a little bit deeper inseam on the sides. Just make that seam a little bit deeper in your seam allowance, or you can overlap a little bit more in the back. But if you overlap too much in the back, it's going to take those shoulders in the back in, and it might not fit as well. But anyway, so this is what she looks like. We'll give her a turn here. So the flounce obviously is all different lengths, which is what I wanted to do. So then it opens in the back because it fastens in the back. And we'll spin her around. So the flounce is all different lengths. Then the underskirt is just a simple circle skirt, the decorative skirt there. Then the white one, of course, is 2 circles. I did notice the circles got cut a little bit crooked, and I think that's because my fabric was a little wonky. So I'll probably level out this part right here. It was a little uneven. But we'll go ahead and grab the petticoat here so you can see what the petticoat looks like once it was finished. It's like the easiest thing in the world to do. Again, it's hooked on the doll stand. So set to the side, and it's simply putting those 3 pieces together and gathering the tulle, sewing the tulle on the bottom. Then I turn the seam allowance up and top stitch. Also, I didn't line it. You can line that if you'd like, but if it's something that never shows once it's on the doll, I tend to avoid linings when I can, just because it adds more bulk. So because what we're dealing with is so small anyway, if I can avoid lining something and still have it finished nice enough, then I do. I kind of avoid that. So here the tulle isn't going to ravel, so it's turned up and stitched, so it's not floppy, it's not going to be all fuzzy everywhere. I just top stitch that and put the seam allowance in place. Then I just turned in the edges, turned over the edge, but everything is serged, so it's not going to ravel. So it is finished, it's just not lined. So that's the petticoat. And then just to make it cute, let's see, we need something dark. What do I have that's dark? Oh, here we go. This is a little darker. I like to scallop the edges just to make it cute, so it's not just a straight tulle. And you just keep folding and folding and fan fold it till it's about that thick, and then just go whoop, and then you've got your paper doll cut, you know, for a scalloped edge. So anyway, there's the petticoat. So I thought now what would be fun is, we know it fits Annora. That's who the pattern was initially designed for. And so now I'm going to go ahead and try it on the 50 centimeter Obitsu, and I'll also put it on Evangeline, so we can see how those will look. And here the dress is on the 50 centimeter Obitsu. So it does fit her well. Of course, it's a lot shorter on her just because she's a much taller doll. The petticoat will not fit her because her hips are too wide. So her hips, yeah, are substantially wider than the other fashion dolls. So it wouldn't, the petticoat wouldn't fit, but if you just did the simple gather the top, stick in some stretchy elastic, rather than do the little girdle top, then you could easily make a petticoat for her as well. But for those of you who have the 50 centimeter doll, then this will actually fit her. It did go over her hands with no trouble. I just kind of had to gently, you know, go over the fingers and then gently take this edge over the hem. But it does fit her, and yeah, I think she likes that. She might be stealing all of Annora's clothes. I have a bad snap. For some reason it doesn't want to snap. And I don't think that's the fit. I think I literally have a bad snap because it won't stay snapped. So, but anyway, the other snaps work. And there we go. So this is how it looks like, how it looks on the Obitsu. So now we'll go ahead and see how it looks on Evangeline. And last but not least, here is the outfit on Evangeline. So on Evangeline, it's noticeably bigger through the shoulders and the waist, because she has a lot thinner frame on her than the others. But if you lengthen that, it's kind of a good look for her, actually, I think, with kind of the droopy, old-fashioned you know, attic-y lace. So it does fit Evangeline. It's just, like I say, kind of big, and I've got that bad snap there. But, oh, here we go. Pull that down. But it will still work for her. So it's a very versatile pattern. It'll fit a lot of different dolls with minimal tweaking. Here again, you can tell the droop in this skirt. I'm not sure how I managed to get that so much longer on one end and shorter on the other, but I'll probably even that up. And then, yeah, so it can work on Evangeline. The sleeve length is actually good for Evangeline. I was wondering if the sleeves would be way too short, but they're not. So there you go. So there's the Couture gown made up, and try it on 3 different dolls so you can see how that'll work for you. Then also, just a fun hint I learned at a doll show that I absolutely love is the silicone wax ear plugs are phenomenal for putting in eyes. I've had a lot of trouble getting the putty that I'll be pushing the eyes into the doll's head, and I get them just where I want them, and then when I try to get my fingers out, the putty all sticks to my finger, and out comes the eyeball, and it won't stay in the doll. It's like the putty won't stick to the resin inside, and so it was getting really frustrating, and someone recommended this to me at a doll show, and I even bought a couple and really liked it. So this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6 pair of earplugs, and it usually takes, for a smaller, like 1/4 scale, it only takes 1 earplug to do both eyes. Then if you have a larger doll with, you know, bigger eyes, it might take 2. But anyway, this package was $3.94, something like that, and there's 12 earplugs in there, so 6 pair. So I found it, I went to the pharmacy and just asked the pharmacist, where are the wax earplugs? And they showed me where they were, and so it was in where they have ear stuff, and maybe eye solution, I don't remember. But anyway, if you ask about it, I just got these at Walmart, and so they're not that expensive, but the wax will actually stick to the resin, not your finger, and it's clear, so you're not going to have any weird discoloration in case your eyes might be a little bit smaller, but you just adore them and you want that pair of eyes. Then this is really nice because it's a clear, translucent color, so it won't affect the way the eyes look. It still looks really nice. So anyway, just a helpful hint. And the gown is finished, so there you go. So happy sewing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.